We're here in San Diego in front of Viejas Arena to tell you all about the biggest game in Mountain West Conference history.
We're in Las Vegas and it's do or die. The Cougars take on the New Mexico Lobos and hopefully third time's the charm.
We weren't the only ones to make the trek to Denver for the second round of the NCAA tournament.
And Sweet 16, will the Cougars get it done on the Big Easy or would they become Gator Bait? Gather round, it's time for the two.
For us this year, the adventure started with a swish. I'm Lakia Holmes, a senior in the broadcast journalism sequence, specializing in sports broadcasting. When Jimmer Fredette hit that amazing shot against that team from Salt Lake, which shall not be named, he would set into motion what would become the most ambitious mentoring and networking season we've ever seen here in the communications department. With that shot and the buzz Jimmer created with it, we knew that we were very likely to make a deep run in the NCAA tournament and that we'd better get ready. We met with our professors and advisors who told us to devise a plan. Which games do we need to cover? How many students should go? What will it cost to get there? How do we get the video back to Provo? We crunched all the numbers and came up with a proposal. It was an ambitious plan some thought would never go through. But thanks to the vision of the department leadership and generous donations of our supporters, our plan got approved. Up first, San Diego. The Aztec game was our first real test of how this plan would work. Brian Grimmett and Emmanuel Na drove down with Professor Jared Johnson to test the waters. We sent them with the goal of shooting and editing the entire second block of the sportscast on Thursday, editing it into a broadcast quality file they could send on the internet, and getting it back to Provo in time to use on the Friday sportscast. They did us one better. San Diego State coach Steve Fisher happened to walk by while they were shooting and offered to sit down for an interview. Everything in San Diego went smoothly, including the basketball game. Rise and shout. Our next road trip came as the Cougars entered the Mountain West tournament for the last time. This time, it was 4 students hitting I-15 southbound with a similar goal as before. Junior Brianna Carr was not only able to oversee the reporters and anchor the coverage, she scored a plum interview with Mountain West Conference Commissioner Craig Thompson. We wish the tournament championship had been equally fruitful, but it just wasn't to be. No worries though. 24 hours later, it was Selection Sunday, and the next trip on our itinerary would be to Denver and the NCAA tournament. I led 4 broadcast students and 2 Daily Universe reporters on this trip. Wofford came up on us quickly, but were no match for Jimmer, Jackson, and the rest of the Cougars. We spent Thursday interviewing, shooting, and editing for Friday's sportscast. True to form, we were blessed this time to get the commissioner of the West Coast Conference to sit down for a few minutes. It looks like the Cougars will have a good home in the WCC. In fact, it was WCC powerhouse Gonzaga that wanted to send us back to a snowy Provo. But the Cougars punched their tickets on to the Sweet 16, and it was the Zags whose tickets took them back to a snowy Spokane. It's now the furthest the Cougars have gone in the tournament in decades. New Orleans was too far for a road trip, so Brian Grimmett and Brendan Hardigan joined Professor Johnson again in taking to the friendly skies. We played Florida long and hard, sending the game into overtime before we just ran out of gas. It was the end of the road for the Cougars, but not for our students. They still had lots of shooting, interviewing, editing, and sending to do before they would get any rest. In fact, they pulled an all-nighter to get everything done before airtime. busy month, but it was worth it. We got to network with some of the big names in sports broadcasting like Vern Lundquist and reporters from ESPN, all of whom were impressed that BYU's broadcast journalism program had sent students to work at this level.
And now I get to pay back the favor. Since returning from the tournament, I've been offered one of ESPN's top internships. More than 14,000 applied and only 6 get it. I'm leaving for Bristol, Connecticut in just a few weeks.
The BYU broadcast journalism program has always been among the best in the nation, and it's opportunities like these that keep us at the top. Thanks to all who helped us gain the experience we need to enter the industry ready to go, and especially to our gracious donors.
You can see how this all turned out by returning to the menu and viewing the CoogTube sportscast I mentioned earlier. I'm Lakia Holmes, thanks for watching, and whether they're on the court or behind the camera, go Cougars!